Well, there's no end in sight to the current crisis at Eskom, but what does load shedding mean for the health of your family? Well, contaminated food can cause various illnesses, and it is key to store food at the correct temperatures. But is that possible with home fridges and freezers being shut down for hours at a time? Well, to help us unpack this, I'm joined by food safety expert, I should say, Anelich, from Anelich Consulting, Dr. Lucia Anelich. Dr. Lucia, thanks very much for your time. I mean, Eskom promises us a couple of hours, but before you know it, your electricity has been off for 7 hours. And if this happens, day in and day out, what does that mean for the food in our fridges?
Well, good evening, and thank you for inviting me to speak on load shedding and food safety. Basically, as a general guideline, your food is pretty safe in the refrigerator for no more than 4 hours with no power, but provided the door of the refrigerator is kept shut. Because every time you open the door, you let hot air in, which will increase the temperature of the refrigerator.
But then, let's say people do indeed make sure that their fridges remain closed for the longest possible time. But if you have load shedding today, let's say for 7 hours, your fridge is on again for another good few hours before it's off again, and this happens day in and day out. Does that make a difference?
Absolutely. The longer that the refrigerator is not receiving power to keep the temperature down of the fridge, the more there is a chance that bacteria will grow that could cause spoilage of the food or indeed make the food unsafe for human consumption. So there is a definite risk. And your perishable foods are the ones that most at risk, like your milk, raw fish, raw meat, raw poultry, and to some extent even leftovers that might have been kept in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days. Already they start to go deteriorate to some extent, and if the refrigerator temperature is increased above 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, then there is a definite risk that the food will spoil or become unsafe.
Is there something that people can do? I mean, when you think about milk, I mean, this is something a lot of people, consume on a daily basis.
Well, the best is to freeze whatever is possible that can be frozen. And milk, because it's homogenized, it can be frozen quite successfully. And if there is any fresh poultry or chicken or fish in the refrigerator, it's best to put it in the freezer, because your freezer will keep its temperature for about 48 hours. So it is much, much safer to keep it in the freezer if at all possible. Not everybody maybe has a freezer. If that is the situation, then it's best to buy fresh food more regularly rather than buy in bulk and keep it in the refrigerator for a long period of time when this kind of load shedding occurs.
Well, that was going to be my next question, what people should do to actually prevent whatever disaster or danger that may follow. But that's where we're going to leave it, Dr. Anelich. Thanks very much for your time.